And it's very cool to come here. I brought them in coolers, the white wines, to keep them in the right temperature for serving. But now I don't need to keep them in my bag, which isn't the most attractive thing to be serving from. We can use the ELICA units here to keep the wines at the opportune temperature. And they weren't at the opportune temperature when I showed up. We were at 40 degrees here. We were at 47 on this side. I kept it that way for the white wines to put in there, because that way you pull them out, they'll easily get up into the low 50s within 10 minutes, which is great serving temperature. But sparkling wine, bubbles as we affectionately call them, really should be in the 30s. You can pull them out of the refrigerator normally and serve them right off the bat.
Right.
And it's not hindered by that colder temperature.
Right.
If you put the white wines down at that cold temperature, you're masking the fruit, you're masking the aromas and flavors.
Yeah.
And it's great to have something almost serving temperature at the ready. You don't have to put it in the fridge 3 hours beforehand.
Yeah.
To do that and then pull it out.
Yeah, it's impressive how fast it drew down from where it was at just a few minutes ago down to this temperature level on this side. So it's great.
I'm impressed with your racks, because I thought, with the Burgundy bottle a little wider than the Bordeaux bottle here, I didn't think these were even big enough to fit.
Right.
They slide in, perfectly fine, 3 across. You got plenty of room in there. You can put, case and a half in there, so you can stock for the weekend.
That's at least a couple of days.
Yeah, these are awesome to have.
Yep.
And when we redo our kitchen, that's definitely going to be one of the highlights of that.
Economy of wine in terms of storage. What do we worry about when we store wine properly?
The two key things are light and heat. So everybody thinks, oh, you've got to store it. I mentioned you should keep the whites maybe in the 40s, so that you can then pull them out and serve them in a few minutes, and they'll be
40s,
in the 50s.
okay.
Red wines, ideally, you want to store it about 56 degrees, 58 degrees, because you want them a good maybe 8, possibly 10 degrees colder than what you're going to serve them at room temperature. And the idea nowadays, our room temperature, our rooms a lot of times nowadays are 72. My dad had it at 78.
Yeah.
At his house, he was older. But that's way too hot.
Yeah.
The warmer it gets, you're getting acid and alcohol in the red wines.
Right.
So you want it a little bit cooler. But you don't need to have it you don't need to get a fridge to store wine.
Right.
You need a dark place where the temperature is going to be as consistent as possible.
Right.
The bottom of a closet in an apartment.
Right.
That will work, because it's
in
dark.
Europe, you go to the basement.
Yeah, they actually literally put it in the basement,
So
right?
they don't have air conditioning
Yeah.
over there a lot of
Perfect
things. So
temperature.
you
Right.
don't need that.
Right.
And it's better. I've had wine in the house, but I keep my house under 70 degrees, 67, 68 or something around there. Does it last as long as it might if you had the ideal thing?
Right.
No. But is it fine? Yeah, because it's more of a constant temperature. Don't put it under the window. Don't store your wine in a kitchen or in the washroom unless you've got a unit like this that's going to do it, because it's the hottest place in the house.
Right.
Is the kitchen. Used to be, when I started doing tastings, you'd walk in and you see the rack of 8 or 10 bottles on the fridge.
Yeah.
Hottest place in the house.
Right.
Right.
It's elevated, the fridge gives off heat.
Yep.
That's the enemy.
Yep.
Enemy is light, direct light, and then heat and fluctuations.
Right, and that's why those come with dual layer glass.
Yep.
Right?
The doors are, if you look at the thickness of the door, it's fairly substantial. It's an inch and a quarter thick, and it's also an argon-filled glass insulated unit. So this helps insulation with regard to sunlight, because it helps radiate it back away from it, and it also keeps it cold in. So these units are very, as we spoke about earlier, they're very efficient. They draw down very quickly.
You know what I noticed after I put it in? The first day I put it in, I was like, God, Marty, check it out, it's so noisy. It wasn't that. I had to turn on the commercial unit next to it.
Right.
Right, it's quiet.
It's super quiet. They're 39
I bought a
dB.
wine fridge a year and a half ago to stand outside or whatever,
Yeah.
and you hear it kick on, and you're like,
Yeah.
what was that?
No,
Right.
this one is
There's nothing.
This one's silent. 39 dB is very, very quiet. You literally can put when you open this up, you don't even hear the fan running. It'll run, but you don't hear it because it's so quiet.
And you measure dB because sones is the measurement of unit of sound.
Yep.
dB is the measurement of quality.
Exactly.
So anything under 40
Is
good quality,
amazing. Yeah.
quiet.
Yeah, we measure dishwashers with dB. We measure wine coolers with dB, and if you're under 40, you're in good shape.
Yeah, and the other thing, I don't know what you put, it's new. I haven't got a training yet from you, but vibration is another enemy of wine.
Right.
It is, yeah.
Right.
Right, so with a quiet, definitely a quality motor.
Yep.
And also, I'm sure there's a dampening system.
There's a dampening system in it. It's a dual dampening system, which is why a lot of the, like you mentioned, a lot of the noise comes from the vibration of the units.
Right.
If you have a very powerful compressor, because they make different size compressors, when that actually generates and turns on, the vibration of the compressor operating will actually create movement within the cooling unit. So if you don't have a very succinct dampening system, you'll have that issue. With ours, they've done a really good job engineering them, and it's very quiet because of that, and very still.
And the extra insulation that you have is great because I'm
Learn
not so
something
sure that
every
we
day.
can rely on PG&E anymore to keep it powered up.
Right.
So when the power goes out, you're still going to be okay for a while.
Yep, absolutely.
Good job.
Yeah.
Anything
So our
else?
wines are chilled. We're ready to go ahead and pop the cork once the guests get here. If you have time, come on down to Monark Home Premium Appliance in San Francisco.
Please join us.
Happy Friday.